and then larger.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Cornell Ellis. I'm the Education Subcommittee Chair for the Mayor's Commission for Reparations for Black Citizens in Kansas City, Missouri. Today is August the 21st, and this is the Education Subcommittee meeting. Happy to be here with my colleague and those that are in the audience. We will begin with a roll call. Mr. Goodman, can you hook us up with that?
I can do that. When I call your name, please just say present. Commissioner Ellis.
Present.
Commissioner Taid.
Present.
Commissioner Bowles. Absent. Commissioner Morris. Absent.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, there's not many of us, but I think that we have plenty to do. So I'm excited to jump in here. The first item on the agenda is old business. And it's the two things that I have on here. We're going to discuss one of them because last week's meeting got rescheduled. So we'll get to that in a second. But I want to talk about this proposed listening session date. As we look back around for another school year, I think it's going to be, I know it's something that we've talked about as an entire commission. I know it's something, especially in the education space, to talk about being able to create some listening session opportunities. I have I'm attained maybe like mid-October, potentially having a listening session. I think 30 days is a little bit ambitious. I think that November, December, we would lose people. What are your thoughts around that?
Well, I think it would be nice to have one if we could do it in October, but I think there's kind of a procedure here that we have to notify some folks in City Hall, and they want a certain amount of lead time. Is that correct, Eric?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think it's 45 days is what was on the document, which if the full body meeting is next week, then that gives you all of October, so probably all September and probably mid-October, depending on when you want to have the listening session. So it could be done.
Okay.
We would just need to get everything rolled in like really, really quick to do it.
Yeah, I think we'll have to, we won't make the 45 days, but I think we should ask for an expedited schedule on this to get it done by mid-October.
Yeah, I think you agree that having one before we get to the end of the first semester is going to be the best idea?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I have October the 2nd to 3rd week of October written down, so I guess we'll shoot for that 3rd week. The 21st, I believe, is the Monday. So we could shoot for, I'm not sure what we talked about in terms of date and time, like days of the week, weekend, evening, night, but we can talk about that as a whole commission. But I think that week 21 through the 26th, is that right? I don't have a calendar in front of me, but I wrote these dates down.
I'll pull my calendar up real quick.
I think that's what we should shoot for. That should be 45 days out.
September, October 26th is a Saturday, so the 20th is a Sunday. This 26th is a Saturday.
Yeah, 20th to 26th, I think we should shoot for that week.
Okay.
And that'll give us our 45 days, even with the meeting being next week, Eric.
Sure.
Yes. Yeah, that should be great.
Okay. So you said in the week 20th to the 26th, you want a particular day, you want weekend or day of the week?
I think we could wait till we get a little bit more consensus to talk about specific. I think especially when we get to the whole group. I know that we've had some conversations as a group around what would be best in terms of weekend, weekday, and time of day. So I want to kind of keep it consistent. I think healthcare is also planning one currently. So, but that's the week that we'll shoot for. One of the days within that week and one time. So.
Okay.
All right, awesome. The other thing on the old business was, well, I guess another thing in proposed to listening session will be venue. And so once we decide on specific day, I'll reach out. I think, would you agree that we probably want to do something at Kansas City Public Schools again?
Yeah, I think so. They have a space there. It's for, I think it's for that. So, mhm.
Right. I think that facility was really set up nicely.
Yeah.
I think we could use that. If we could do that again, I think we could do that well again with
Mhm.
another at bat. And potentially a district representative, Dr. Collier, or maybe Dr. Davis this time,
Mhm.
will be a great speaker. And then I think that in light of the direction that we're going in, I know that, and this is going to be a little bit of my chair report, but do you think the Ballards would be interested in speaking on district grounds or in a program in relationship with the district?
I suppose so, but we can certainly ask. I know they are in discussions about some things with the district.
Yeah, it could be
Well,
possible.
but we should ask. We should ask.
Okay.
They would be excellent contributors, even if they're doing it, you know, I mean, they're doing it for the committee. They're not doing it for the district. We just happen,
Right, right,
yeah.
right. Exactly.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay. Well, then, yeah, I'll work on once we get nailed next week. I'll email Barnes tonight, Commissioner Chairwoman Barnes, to add that to the agenda. She had a call for agenda items yesterday.
Mhm.
Add to agenda for listening sessions. Um, and then once we nail down the specifics, I will work on venue and speakers.
Mhm.
Okay. Anything I'm missing from listening sessions that you're thinking about?
No, speakers, venue, important thing. I guess part of this preparation is do there's some support, financial support coming from the city. So I don't know what their requirements are, but we'll figure that out once we make the proposed date to them. You know.
Okay,
Yeah, I would imagine honorarium
Hmm.
would be a part of that budget. And I think last time there was like a security fee for the district. I think like the
Yeah,
security guards, if we're doing it on the weekend or after hours,
sure.
there's usually some type of fee for that as well from the district
Hmm.
or facilities fee.
Yeah.
Okay, Commissioner Bowles is about to come to the room.
Awesome.
If the system would pull him over. I'm sorry. Depends. Okay. There he is.
Hey, Will. Can you hear us, bud? You may be busy. Good to see you here.
There he is.
Yeah, I hear y'all. My audio's messing up right now. I'm gonna have to mess with that for a little bit.
Okay.
You good, bro? I'm happy to have you here. Just to update you, we just got started in thinking about the old business, and so we talked about a potential date for a listening session to get it done before the end of the first semester of school. So we're looking at October due to the requirement of 45 days in advance for communications to the city. We're looking at the week of October 20th through 26th. And so at the full body meeting next week, we'll kind of nail down the details, and then I'll be responsible for acquiring a speaker and a venue. I know your audience messed up. So if you have any qualms with that, you can put them into the chat. But that's literally as you came in, we had just kind of agreed to that, and we're moving a little bit forward as the next item on the agenda, which was back to school bash, which was last week. So the block had an event that I wanted to invite everybody to and make sure they were aware of. We hosted our kind of giveaway for the year. We give away teacher supplies, school supplies, and both community vendors. So it was a really great event. Could have been a good opportunity for us to talk to the community and share with the community about the work that we're doing. I think that we should keep an eye out for community organization, community events such as that to be able to tell our message and to have communication with the community about what we're doing. So that was that. Moving on into the chair report. So not that much to report. I am working diligently to prepare. As I'm talking now, if you guys recall, I sent you all of the primary draft, initial draft of the harm statement that I hope that we will be completing over the next, that we will be completing, not I hope, that we will be completing over the next year, or the course of our time. And so I'd love to spend some time digging into that, but that's kind of where I got started or where I've been working over the last month. And had a conversation with Professor Tawhid here about kind of ways to move forward from the lens of African-centered education. So from what you'll see in the harms document is kind of just like a start to the conversation about a lot of the context about Black student achievement as it relates to white student achievement in the Kansas City area over the last 50 years. And making those correlations between socio and geopolitical landscapes, redlining, lending, and how those things attributed to a lack of opportunity for Black communities to excel. After this portion of the harm statement, I think was where we will go into like a specific narrative about a positive uptick in the achievement of Black students in Black communities and tell the narrative of how that all happened. And that's kind of where the African-centered spin starts to come in. And that's kind of where my focus is right now, in setting up interviews, continuing to have conversations with relevant folks. And I think I may have also shared with you all, nope, I think I just shared it with you, Dr. Tawhid, the list of resources that I would love for us to start engaging in research in to be able to bring our own perspectives to the table as we start thinking about African-centered education as a potential solution and potential form of reparations in education, in the education sector. So, like I said, I'm going to be setting up interviews and having conversations and reading and starting to do some research to be able to form the next section of the harms report, kind of as we are adjusting this first section and the context section. And over the next few months, we'll craft that story together, you know, along with the. Go ahead.
No. Let's have a discussion of the harms report document. I don't think we have to put it up right now, but I think, I mean, it's a good document, but I think it's more than a harm statement is that I'm thinking. It's not a research statement. It's not a statement of actual harms. There was a template that came out of the health subcommittee that was created, and that template came out of some work that there was a meeting that occurred with some of the committee members, Reparations Commission members, with an organization. I'm trying to think of the name of the organization. That explained kind of what the content of a harm statement is. Okay. And we should revisit that template, because the harm statement.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The harm statement is not a discussion of harms, but at least from that template, it's not a discussion of harms. because in order to have that, you actually have to have the research done.
Okay,
But
so it's more of a quantifiable statement of where the research should be done.
Yeah, it's a statement of kind of a general statement of where we're going to investigate the harms that are done, in our case, in education. It's kind of a preamble to the report. It will be a preamble to the report. And then the report will lay out the various harms. So in your statement, there certainly are the sections that are covered. And I thought it was an excellent job in that in presenting the overall framework. But going forward, what that harm statement that comes out of every subcommittee will do is, when we have researchers who are on board, they will take the harm statement, and that will be their research questions will come out of that harm statement. So it's not at this point a statement of all of the, we're not to do the research in this process. I know it's difficult because if you work in an area, you already have done some research, and that can become part of the actual report itself. Right, but the harm statement is a preamble to that. So we're, as far as I remember, the harm statement should be fairly short.
Okay.
Yours is 3 pages, and I think that's probably a good length for it. Yeah. So okay. So what we need to do at this point is maybe to
look at the template.
Look at the template, and then there may be some suggestions for improvements in the harm statement that you've written, again, which was an excellent statement. But then it lays out the plan for the research. It's actually a research plan, if you will, for the researchers.
Right, it's a research plan. I got you. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's my fault. I did not see the. I don't recall the template. I'm sure I've seen it. I don't recall it. So that'll be a great tool for me to use moving forward. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I can. While we're talking, I think I can share that. I'll find it and I'll put it in the chat, so that we can share.
If you could email it to me, that'd probably be easier, because I'm in the car on my phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you could email it to me. And then the other piece was the research and list of resources that I was able to. I just grabbed them off of ChatGPT. But it ended up being like what it looked like a pretty decent list. And I think, Dr. Tawhid, I just sent it to you about an hour ago. Mm-hmm. And having around the conversations of the data that you sent. And Eric, do we have a centralized resource bank yet?
We do not. I think that's the one that LaDonna was going to see about putting all the resources and everything. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
No, I will actually ask her about that when I talk to her this evening.
Okay, great. Let's see. So this is the document that I also would like us to take a look at. Not gonna work. So that we could kind of start doing our own research and being able to bring our own perspective to the conversations around African-centered education, and how we can start to craft and correct me if I'm wrong here, our harm statement and report also loops back around to recommendations. Is that correct?
But the harm statement doesn't do that, because we don't have actual harms yet. But it should be a preamble to recommendations. It should state that out of the harms from the research, we're going to make recommendations out of that. But we don't have any recommendations because we don't actually have any research yet.
I got you. Okay, well, that kind of puts a pin in that then. I'm not able to share this document with us, but Dr. Tawhid, I'll send it to you. If you
Yeah.
could,
Do you want me to share it?
you can, yeah, that could work if you put it in the chat right now. I think it seems like Mr. Bowles is also maybe not in the best place to look at a document right now. But what I'm going to do is make all those items clickable so that they go to a actual resource on the internet, try to find all those resources and put them into a more accessible spreadsheet, like an Excel spreadsheet, where we can kind of start doing some research there. And I would love for your perspective on the validity of those resources and whether or not they're any good, and if and B, any ones that are missing that you think could be useful for us to be added to that.
And
So
this is
a document.
This is the African Centered Education resources that you
Yes.
said.
Yes.
Okay. And what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to ask Dr. Ballard the doctors Ballard, because both two of them to help to go through this and bring some feedback, if that's okay with everyone here.
Yep, and I'm gonna I'm gonna send out put a request out to meet with them as well.
Okay.
So hopefully
I've just emailed the template to you and Commissioner Bowles, and also Eric to you also.
So this
appreciate that.
The harm statement template that you sent is a PowerPoint.
It's a PowerPoint. This is Dr. Jones on the Health Commission who put it into a PowerPoint form, but it could have been a Word form, but it's right now it's in a PowerPoint form.
I got you. So those would be more like sections on in a piece of writing.
Yeah. I mean, let me just, while we're talking, let's just, because both of you are driving. The sections here are purpose, priorities, objectives, areas of focus, actions, and I think is that it? Yeah. There is then starts, for example, so purpose to research and identify past, so forth, present and future harms. Priorities, funding and research. Objectives, reparations is, and we expand that. Areas of focus: physical health, mental health, healthcare, workforce, and health education. So it's kind of laying out the research format for the research. There is a section that's been started on harms, but it's very general. Like, for example, denial of healthcare access is a kind of a very short statement of the type of harms that would be researched. In other words, someone would be responsible for going and looking at the cases of denial of healthcare access, and then also to evaluate the harm that has caused. And so your statement, as I said, you go through a lot of that in that way. But this statement is not that long. So it's not intended to be a statement of harms, but a statement of investigation of harms.
Right. I got you. Yeah, it's more topical than explanatory.
Yeah. And for the actions, we talk about recommendations. There is a bullet point action: make recommendations. That is what we're responsible for. But there are no recommendations here. Okay.
I got you. Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I will take a look at this and kind of start to craft and rework. And I'm also doing some reading around other cities and other municipalities and their harm statements and some of the documents that they end up coming up with, so that we can also have something similar and comparative to the rest of the country as well.
Yeah. There would be one recommendation I would make for the harm statement that you put together in the beginning, in the opening. section. And you and I, we've had a discussion of this, that the city of Kansas City hasn't had.
Did everyone freeze, or is it just Commissioner Tauheed?
I think it
It
was
was just him.
talking.
Okay.
Okay, great. I was hoping it wasn't me. I was like, damn, how am I gonna do it the whole meeting? And then as soon as he started diving in, then I freeze. Is he back? I don't see him. He's still looking. Will, did you get the chance to take a look at? There he is.
Okay, you're still muted.
Yeah, he's muted, but you're moving again.
Wow.
There
Okay.
you are.
I don't know where I dropped off.
No, you didn't.
But
We didn't get a word in. Yeah, start over from the beginning.
okay. I was saying one suggestion I would make for the harm statement that you've put in, and you and I we've had discussion about this, is that the city of Kansas City has not had for a while, since the 1950s, political control of the school district, or of any of the school districts that are within the city boundaries, which either have the cities have political control, or the counties have political control. Kansas City is not organized that way in its school jurisdictions. But there are things that the city has done or not done that have affected distribution of resources to school districts, and those distributions of resources has affected the educational process. We in your harm statement, you bring out redlining in particular, which is done by private entities, but validated by the city in terms of its zoning,
right,
and other kinds of things that have been passed. There's no doubt that real estate, even if it's we don't have private, we have private developers, but those private developers operate in a citywide political and institutional framework, and what they're allowed to do is what the city allows them to do, and in fact,
right.
what the city not only allows but
Incentivizes them to do as
supports,
well.
yeah, exactly, supports and
Yeah.
incentivizes them to do. And so that's the connection to the school
Right.
district that we need to make. And if you can make some of that a statement, paragraph to that effect in the beginning, so that people aren't
Yeah.
thinking, so people make the connection between the things that the things that the city has control over, and the eventual effect of education, particularly on the Black community here, then that would help.
Yeah.
Okay.
Would you all be opposed to? I love that idea. Thank you. And I'm gonna take a stab at that. Again, but I think my proposal will be that we maybe even have a shared document. Do you guys work
Okay.
on Google Docs a lot
Okay.
to be able to?
Let's do that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the
So
only way I see going.
okay. So when I reform this was just the initial draft. So I'll take a look at a second version, which will going the wrong way, which will be on Google Docs, and that will allow us to then edit it and keep moving forward in a way that will be collaborative. I think that'd be best.
Right.
Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna reshape it to look like the template, and then once I get it into a format that we can all work from, I'll move it on a Google Doc and reshare it with us. And then also move that we'll put is Google probably the best. Do you think that the city is gonna use Google as well when we get a resource makeup, or do y'all like Microsoft or what?
I think we could just go with that, and because it's just for us to build it out, just for ease and simplicity. I mean, I think it'll just be the best to avoid any obstacles.
I agree.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, sounds good. That's the end of my agenda.
So I got a
Anybody?
couple things on that too, on the template, all that's good and whatnot. We can review the the one
Did
that's
you get
been
a chance
sent
to look at the
over,
harm
and
statement?
there's actually a few of them out there that have been compiled by organizations that are laid out succinctly, just like the ordinance lays out. And so the layout of these templates is actually based on HR 40. So it's based on how HR 40 says to lay out the harms in the states and how they should be done, and within its proclamation, within its writing, this is how it's done. And so those are made off of that. But we can delve into that more into that another time. But as far as the substance on this, I just want us to start thinking collectively. I want us to start like thinking collectively and creatively to where we understand where we're going. Because let's be real, we all know the issues, right? We all know the issues of the lack of funding being pushed to these areas and whatnot. But tell me one solution. Tell me one solution that, even if it's drastic, that we can agree upon. I mean, the thing is that we know that African-centered education is the way to go, and it uplifts our kids, right? Outside of funding, tell me one solution to keep it going and to build that. This is what I'm saying, that we need to start and just throw in these brainstorming ideas out there. Within these, we can create up some documents. I mean, I can create the hell out of some documents, man, all of them. But the thing is that the substance is what's needed. So then, I mean, we have to. We're not dumb, right? So let's not act like it. Let's not act like the research hasn't been done and we need to revalidate something by, this and that. It's not going to do it. It's going to be the same that's already been out there. So let's at least come together ourselves, like the oppressors do. I mean, y'all know how the old marketing and all these stories talk about, the cafe shops of conversations, all this. Well, guess what? These things are how ideas are crafted, and this is what we need to actually be talking about. We can't have this red line that, oh, well, we haven't did this, so we can't blah, blah, blah. Well, no, we are the ones that need to be creating and putting these thoughts into the pot. And yeah, let's create a document to get this harm statement laid out. Okay, we'll make another document to start putting our possible, even if it's just boom, red line right through it. But guess what? Let's put it out there. And we'll make these documents so that we could get these thoughts down and have some substance on these things, because I'm tired of waiting on all this research and all this like it hasn't been done already. So hey, that's what I got to say about it.
I appreciate that, Commissioner Bowles. Yeah, we'll get a Google document together that we can start working collaboratively to ensure that all of our thoughts are being heard, and we can push forward in a way that's going to be most effective. I agree. Like I'm tired of spinning our wheels as well. That's not. We didn't come here to get a haircut, right? So I'm looking forward to getting some work accomplished. Thank you for what you bring to the table. I am out of items. Let's go ahead and open the floor for public comment, Eric.
Okay, there's no one in the audience.
Awesome. All right. Well, with that, I will go ahead and if there's any last comments, Dr. Tahi or Bowles. Great. I'll go ahead and adjourn our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned at 4:39. Have a good one, guys.
All right, fellas. Peace.
Bye.